Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JIS News for Thursday, November 13, 2025. 98 farmers registered with the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, will benefit from a $2.88 million insurance payout to aid their recovery from the impact of Hurricane Melissa. The insurance payout is coming from the Grace Kennedy Weather Protection Program, which is administered by Grace Kennedy General Insurance Company. The government provided $7.5 million to subsidize base level coverage for each participating farmer's insurance policy. 49 of the 98 RADA farmers will receive the maximum payout of $50,000 under their coverage. A symbolic check representing the total sum was handed over to farmer beneficiaries on Wednesday during a ceremony at the Ministry of Agriculture's Hope Gardens office in St. Andrew. Describing the handover as a bittersweet moment, Portfolio Minister Floyd Green lamented the disruption of what was poised to be a record-breaking year in agricultural production, but hailed the timeliness of the insurance scheme.
10 years ago, 8 years ago, we wouldn't be having a ceremony like this nature, because at that time there was no facility for farmers to take the necessary steps to prepare themselves against these inevitable weather-related events. The fact that we now have a facility offered by GK Insurance is something that we should all clap about.
The parametric insurance product is designed to safeguard the livelihoods of local farmers and fishers against extreme weather events, including excess rainfall, drought and hurricane-force winds. Cabinet has approved a relief grant of $500 million for schools damaged during the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Kassan Troop, says the grants will be disbursed to the individual schools so they can mobilize on the ground to move out the debris and set up temporary learning spaces. She made the disclosure at the launch of National Parent Month at the Tivoli Gardens High School in Kingston. The Permanent Secretary shared that over 40 technical workers are in the field assessing the damage to inform the rebuilding plan for affected schools. To date, 653 schools across Jamaica have reopened since the passage of the hurricane. While on a tour of affected schools in Westmoreland, Dr. Troop said the ministry was exploring temporary learning spaces such as tents to facilitate the resumption of classes for schools that have been severely damaged.
When you have a disaster, it is called education in emergencies. Temporary learning spaces is a part of that. So when our minister will look at tent and so forth, it's a part of the architecture to build back until we can get into the physical space. That's also on the table. We are looking at those. We are looking at ID locations. We know that even the schools themselves, we may not even be able to go into the walls, but we can set up the tents on that compound because we need to access the bathrooms and the kitchen facility so we can cook meals and so forth. So that's the kind of robust nature going into the review.
Dr. Troop confirmed that exam students will start returning to learning spaces next week and beyond, even if in smaller, flexible groups based on teacher availability. Recovery efforts in the health sector, where several hospitals suffered catastrophic damage to roof and infrastructure, is progressing. The Black River Hospital sustained the most significant damage and has been decommissioned in the short term. Other hospitals with significant damage include Noel Homes in Hanover, Falmouth in Trelawney, Cornwall Regional in St. James, Savannah Lamar in Westmoreland, and St. Anne's Bay in St. Anne. The Bellevue Hospital also suffered damage to the roof, biomedical equipment, electrical and sanitation services, and the stormwater system. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says electrical service and water supply has been restored at Cornwall Regional. Falmouth's water supply has also resumed. Noel Homes and Savannah Lamar are in full operation using existing power generators. At the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital, all operations except those at the dietary department have been re-established. To supplement care at these facilities, Dr. Tufton says 3 field hospitals and 9 temporary primary care facilities are either completely operational or set to be established by the end of the week.
Within a week, a field hospital was established in Black River to take off the load that was created based on the decommissioning of the Black River Hospital. There are 2 other field hospitals that are being established, and as we speak, the field hospital at the Falmouth Hospital is now commissioned and in service. There's a 3rd that is coming this week. That one will be deployed at the Savlamar Hospital compound.
Minister Tufton was giving an update on Hurricane Melissa's impact on the health sector during this Tuesday's sitting of Parliament. Preliminary damage to the country's road network in parishes affected by Hurricane Melissa is estimated at $35 billion. This is likely to increase when the assessment is completed. Giving the update at a press briefing earlier today, Minister with Responsibility for Works, Robert Morgan, said approximately $10 billion would be needed to undertake immediate response and emergency works. This will cover road clearance, drain cleaning, temporary surface repairs, and repairs to gullies. Of the $10 billion, Minister Morgan says Cabinet has approved $5 billion for the National Works Agency to sustain ongoing operations along critical corridors where access remains constrained.
1, reopen roads, including some drain cleaning. $1 billion for road repairs, and this is just emergency road repairs, and also $2 billion for repairs to gullies, particularly the Sandy Gully, the North and South Gully and their tributaries, as well as some minor culverts, gullies and fordings across the island.
Minister Morgan outlines that approximately $400 million was spent in preparation for the hurricane. Approximately 396 corridors were affected, 123 are now cleared for two-lane access, 248 for single-lane access, and 30 remain inaccessible. The Works Minister says a list of roadways that are blocked and those that are cleared will be published. Hurricane Melissa's impact on the National Water Commission (NWC's) infrastructure and response will exceed $10 billion Jamaican dollars. Portfolio Minister Matthew Samuda gave that report during a press briefing at Jamaica House this morning. He says Cabinet has been apprised of the issues and was presented with a restoration plan. The first phase of that plan will cost $3.25 billion and includes clearing access to sites, temporary repairs to raw water transmission and distribution pipelines, and installation of standpipes in communities without electric power. It also involves the trucking of water, office building repairs, and the purchase or rental of standby generators. The bulk of the expenditure is set aside for non-emergency activities.
Over the coming 4 to 6 months, items that cannot be procured or should not be procured in an emergency way will see the benefit of a $6.95 billion restoration plan, which will have layers of resilience to ensure that as we build back particularly stronger.
In the meantime, the NWC has successfully restored water supply to customers in sections of St. James, including downtown Montego Bay, Jimmy Cliff Boulevard, Sunset Drive, and Queens Drive. These areas will receive supply from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily. The NWC is also reporting that major pipeline relocation work at the Great River intake is complete and power supply has been restored at the treatment plant. As the network charges, customers in the plant's service areas should expect gradual restoration of water supply over the coming days. The Trelawney Municipal Corporation has commenced a comprehensive cleanup of the town of Falmouth. Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie gave an update during a press briefing at Jamaica House this week.
Once that is done, the vendors who are on the streets will be allowed to go in using the car park of the market to ply their trade.
The minister also clarified that no authorization had been given for municipal corporations to increase market fees. Minister of Transport Darrell Vaz is refuting claims that a relief shipment was tampered with at the Norman Manley International Airport. The response follows allegations made on social media by a prominent reggae artist who claimed that several items imported as part of a humanitarian shipment were removed by employees at the NMIA upon arrival in Jamaica. Speaking at a press briefing earlier today, Minister Vaz said he conducted an overnight investigation which confirmed that the shipment remained intact.
I did an overnight investigation, including cameras and including the custom broker who handled the shipment. And I want to make it very clear that the shipment left the airport intact as it came, fully wrapped, and everything that was there left the airport in the custody of the charitable organization. It went to a warehouse in Spanish Town, which the government has no involvement in whatsoever. So as far as what we did in terms of making sure that the goods that were meant for the people, the poor suffering people, were delivered.
Minister Vaz says he remains committed to investigating any credible reports of relief supplies being tampered with. And finally, the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Agriculture Protection Branch APB is warning the public to buy meat only from licensed and reputable outlets. The warning comes in the wake of the seizure of a vehicle transporting uninspected animal carcasses in Manchester. Lawmen from the Manchester Police Division, assisted by the APB's Area 3 unit, intercepted a Toyota van carrying what appeared to be 4 butchered cow carcasses with the heads still attached. Commanding officer of the APB, Senior Superintendent Oral Pasco, tells JIS News that the animals had been improperly slaughtered and transported under unsanitary conditions.
And that is the reason why for this quarter, and as of recent, we have doubled up on our efforts to intercept such persons carrying stolen produce, especially livestock, and meats that are slaughtered in an unsanitary way in unregistered slaughterhouses. We implore members of the public to ensure that you do the smell test when it comes to purchasing meat, and only purchase from reputable organizations, meat shops.
Consumers, he stresses, must remain vigilant, particularly in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, when food supply chains may be disrupted and food safety compromised.
Look on the coloration of these meats to ensure that you're consuming inspected meats that were slaughtered in a government registered slaughterhouse and inspected by the public health inspectors. Ensure that you're vigilant to ensure that stolen meats or meats that are contaminated do not enter the food chain to cause illness.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.